Hey, it's my little garage. Today we're doing some work on my Silverado. I actually did half of it yesterday. We put a helper spring in there. That new shock went pretty well. Broke a lug nut. This I gotta plug back in here. But yeah, so there, we put that back in. But it went pretty well. It came with some interesting instructions that are all destroyed. This was the instruction book they sent. You could kind of read it. I could read it enough, I guess, to get the job done. Went pretty well yesterday. It took me about an hour to do that side. Shock. Rough country. So rough country shock. The leaf spring is just a leaf spring. Just a leaf spring that goes in between the lower and the middle spring. We're going to see the difference here shortly, hopefully. But the kit comes with that leaf spring, a bolt that holds it in place, like a center bolt, and one nut. So it's pretty easy. Separate the leaf springs, put them in. I got it on a jack stand still, so I can't see the actual height. I got to put the other one in anyways. So I'm going to pop this wheel off, give you a quick walkthrough of what we got to do. So just give me a couple minutes here. Alright, so here's basically what you have to do. It's only 35 degrees out today, by the way, but it is what it is. This little garage, we don't stop because it's cold and we can't get this big thing in the little garage. Too much stuff in there. So you cut this bolt off. That's the center bolt that holds it all together. You take these off. You separate this leaf. There's a pin in there you got to pound down because the new helper spring doesn't have the hole in it. I'll show you that when I get that far. Once we get this unbolted, I'll unbolt the shock also, so it can all come down, and then you put your leaf in between all that and good to go. So I'm going to take this wire down like I had the other side so it has enough travel, and take that shock off. Grind this off, and then I'll show you the separation of this pin and everything. Alright, so here we are. We unhooked this, which little plastic thing broke, so we'll have to zip tie that back up. So we cut that piece off. That's what holds it all together. We cut that off. We took the U-bolts off. So right now, the only thing holding this up is this jack. So when I lower the jack down, this whole thing will drop down, and should be able to drive this out. And then this will separate. So let's see what happens here. Alright, so we lowered it down. You can see the separation of the leaves. So there's that. We just banged it up. They're just sitting there. So you take this out like this. Drive that bolt out of there. And then I'll show you the next step. I'll get that bolt out so you can see the pin that's you got to pound in. Just hold on. Pause it for a second. Alright, so this alignment pin on this lower spring is now in the way. So what I did is I pounded it through because it sits in this bracket like that, so the pin will then catch on the bottom half. And then you put all your springs in And the new one that doesn't have that hole in it goes on top of this. So we're gonna pound that through, and then I'll set that new spring in there and you'll get to see what it looks like. All right. And it's snowing out right now. A little bit of snow. Not too bad though. All right. So we got it started. We got the new leaf in there, the helper spring. We got that's the new pin. We're trying to feed it through all the holes. And as you see that plate there, you gotta move around to get it to go down here, on here, and then you gotta put those plates in, and then put this on top, and start putting everything back on. But the biggest fight is getting that leaf back in there, or in there, and then the rest of them all back together in the proper direction. As you jack it up, it'll straighten it out, and then you just keep moving it around until you get the whole thing through. So I'm gonna get this lined up, and once I get it lined up with everything in there, I'll show you that, and then we'll start clamping it back together and putting a new shock in. Alright, so we got the center bolt in, it's nutted down. I set the clamps in, we're going to put the bottom on. So we're looking good, it's in there. After I get it in there, we'll see how those steel clamps work. I got to put them on the other side too. But we're almost there, we're almost done. Hasn't been too long. I mean, for install, I would say this is not a bad install. We'll see how it looks in a little bit, but I'm going to get these clamps on. We'll put those C clamps on, get this thing buttoned up, get the shock back in, see what we got going. All right, there's the little steel clamps. Got that on. Everything's tight on this side. We put the wheel back on, lower it down. I got to put these steel clamps on the other side yet because I didn't do it yesterday. So we'll get those on, we'll lower it down, bounce it a little bit, see what it looks like. I think it's gonna make a big difference, but we will see. I'll get the wheel on this side. I got new lug nuts coming because one broke yesterday, but we'll put these ones back on for now. When the new ones come, we'll just spin them off and put the new ones on. All right, we got it set down. We're all done. I got those clamps on there. I put it on the other side. Here's my safety tip of the day. If you're jacking your vehicle up in the back, put a block under the tire. Because look, that's how much that was just barely touching that tire. That's how much the truck rolled while I was working on it. I can't even pull this out of here now. If that wasn't there, it could have rolled down my driveway because my driveway's crooked as shit. But here we are. We're going to give it a little test drive, bounce it around. I got to back it up, get that stop block under there. We got a little part for the S10 today. And you know, I don't try to advertise for anybody because nobody's giving me nothing for free. Everything that's done is out of my pocket. So why should they get any credit for their parts? If you catch it on the down low because it's on the box, nothing I'm to do about that. But I'm not going to advertise for anybody because they're not giving me anything. I get nothing for free. Nobody's handing me anything for free. Nobody's sponsoring me. Budget build is a budget build. Nobody's giving me anything. I pay full price for everything. Every nut and bolt's turned by my hand. There's no flashbacks. Oh, it's all done because somebody else did it. Everything's done by me. We got our exhaust pieces we're going to make for the S10. We're going to weld the pieces in with the flanges so we can bolt those on this weekend. We got the lower hose, so we can do that. So everything's good. Oh, I wanted to test fit this. I'm sure, have you seen the video of me welding this in? Sometimes when you weld these bungs in, let's see here, it screws up the threads and you gotta run a thread tracer through it. So we're gonna see if that's what happened or if it all went well. Screwing right in by hand, so we're good there. So that's good. So that'll go right together. I'm gonna put this in the truck with this stuff for this weekend because we're working on the S10 this weekend. See if we can get that a little closer. Nothing from the wiring yet. I sent it back. Hopefully they send me the right stuff. You see in my video, the computer didn't match the wiring, or the wiring didn't match the computer that they sent me. So hopefully they're fixing that. So I'm gonna give this a quick drive, bounce it around, see what it looks like. But we'll be able to put the wood and the trailer and everything on here, and it'll be a much better ride, and it won't be sinking anymore, I would guess. But it'll settle some, because right now it looks like it's sitting high in the back, but that's with it off, just off the jack. There's no weight on it. We'll drive it around, see if it gets better. All right, we got it out of the driveway. Sits pretty level. Definitely sits leveler or it squatted in the back, even when it just sat there. Yeah, it's got a nice stiff rebound. I got a new bumper, getting a decal black because it was chrome. Haven't got it yet, but winter's still here, so I'm not worried about it. Let it ruin that bumper. But yeah, it looks pretty good. That's a leaf in the back and two shocks. So it drives good, looks good. You can tell it's a little stiffer, but it's a nice ride now. It ain't bouncy. We'll drive it to work tomorrow on the thruway, see what that looks like. Like I said, it's 35 degrees, raining and snowing. Here at this tiny garage, we do what we got to do to get the work done. That's why we got so many videos, because we never stop working. If you're standing still, you're not getting anywhere. So we're going to call it a night though. Go take a shower, get something to eat, because we worked all day and worked an hour tonight when we got home, hour and 20 minutes. This is like a 14-minute video, and it took me about an hour and a half to get this in and finish the other side, with about an hour last night. So 2.5 hours, 15-minute video. Here's what it is. Worked out well, and I think it'll get the job done. So that was the whole point. You guys have a good night.